Uber is accusing a group that attacked Microsoft and T-Mobile of attacking its systems. The company says a hacker gained access after messaging a contractor via Slack to get past its two-factor authentication verification. This comes after a teenager took responsibility for the cyber attack last week. So Lily Hay Newman is here with me to talk a little bit more about this. She's a senior writer at Wired who covers information security, digital privacy, and hacking. When I read that line in your piece about the fact that a teenager did this, I had to do a double take, and I thought, man, not only do they have to look out for, nefarious organized crime groups, but then just random teenagers who were looking, for a challenge. What do we know so far about the people or person behind the Uber hack and how they gained access?
Yeah, well, the teens are very good hackers, but it isn't a completely random individual or entity. Uber attributed this to what's called the Lapsus hacking group, and like you said, it's sort of a loose collective, seemingly, perhaps only attributable to one individual, but seemingly a group, and they've hit a lot of major organizations and massive tech companies. So there's a real talent for social engineering and breaking into accounts here.
In your article, you mentioned a strategy used by the hacker that was an MFA fatigue attack. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so, when you log into an account with a username and password, sometimes you have to do something additional to also log in, like enter a code. That's multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication there. And in this case, the attacker was using a version of it where someone receives push notifications on their phone that says, do you want to accept this login and authorize this login? And that's the second factor of authentication. And the target in question here, an Uber contractor, got a ton of these notifications. The hacker just tried to log in with a stolen username and password. And eventually the person, according to Uber, had rejected these push notifications, but just got fatigued by the, experience, this deluge, and hit accept. And then that's it. The hacker is in.
So often when we hear about hacks, many times, it's about the human component, right? It's the human weakness that often lets these groups in. My question is why? Clearly there are some groups that are motivated, that are financially motivated, and there are ransom, and all kinds of money can be made. It doesn't look like that's the case with this Uber hack. What motivates people to do this?
Yeah, the motivation in this, particular situation has been somewhat unclear. Sometimes Lapsus, we've said Lapsus is like on a joyride, kind of, that it's related to proving that they can do something like this. But I just want to emphasize the level of access in this case at Uber. It wasn't just the phish. The attacker then was able to move laterally within the network and, gain higher and higher privilege. The attack, was pretty significant. So there is a lot of potential access here to steal data, to potentially deploy malware. Like, this is really, major penetration. So, yeah, the sky's the limit.
At this point, we haven't seen the full fallout of this particular hack, and there have been others. Lily Hay Newman, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.